Yeah, better in the shade.
Daar staan we dan. Op een van de filmranges hier in Santa Clarita, Californië. En naast mij, dat is een van de mensen die ons vandaag rondleidt, meneer Simmons. En hij is echt echt een expert op het gebied van films, ook hele oude films. En hij mag hier, als enige mag hier mensen rondleiden. Mr. Simmons, can you explain what's a movie range?
Well, a movie ranch, this is one right here. This is actually the biggest in the world. Sorry, I'm not saying this in Dutch, but but this is the best I can do. This is actually called the Veluzat Motion Picture Ranch. It's the biggest film ranch in the world, okay?
And what's the difference between a ranch and a movie studio?
Well, a ranch oftentimes were indeed ranches. This was a ranch. This was a cattle ranch way back when. Ranches will have a lot more room and generally more different diversified settings like this one. But some of them are studios. I mean, they'll have sound stages built and that kind of thing. But most of the studios in California are just kind of small buildings. But this is where you actually come on location.
Voor de mensen die van horror houden, Friday the 13th is hier gefilmd.
What this is most famous for is Friday the 13th Part 3. This barn, this is where Jason was killing a lot of people. There was a house over here that was burned down by some vandals years later. But that was the house in the film. You can see the fireplace there still standing. There's a windmill over there. You guys know about windmills in Holland, right?
Everything.
And then behind it was Crystal Lake, you know, from the movie. It's actually like full of weeds now, but it was actually kind of like a paved pool that they filled up.
No water anymore there.
No water now.
No
water now. But they could, if they needed to, they could film it again. And they could fill it up again. But yeah, the barn here. We'll take and show you what the barn is. Like I said, I have no idea what the tents are here for, but this place is very haunted. You'll probably catch things on your screen when you go back.
Uh-oh.
Haunted set.
Oh, haunted set?
I'm kind of kidding, but not really.
The door slammed when we were in. It's okay, we can open it.
Friday the 13th.
Part 3.
Part 3.
And yeah, there's a lot of saws and things hanging up in here in the movie and all, and Jason's killing people up in the loft there, and he dies he dies in the doorway here. But of course he doesn't really.
What famous TV shows and films were shot here?
Oh, there's been hundreds. Just starting now, going back in time, they filmed Westworld out here. I think they filmed part of Django Unchained out here. They filmed Friday the 13th, Part 3. That's one of the films. There's been a lot of other films, a lot of comedies, a lot of horror movies. Television shows they've done, they did Dukes of Hazzard out here. They did the A-Team. They did, it's like there's so many. Yeah, this is the Halfway House Cafe. It just looks like a shack, right?
Yeah.
But it's in the 30-mile zone, so it's one of the few places that looks like a biker bar out in the middle of nowhere, this close to Hollywood. So a lot of times, whenever you see like motorcycle gangs coming up to a biker bar, that kind of thing, will be right here.
Okay.
They filmed so many things over the years here. If you go inside, they'll show you clips of a lot of the films that were done here. A lot of TV shows. The Mentalist filmed up here a lot. Heroes. They filmed a very, very famous Cindy Crawford commercial with Diet Pepsi and Pepsi here. That was done here. They did a movie here called Waitress. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it was about a woman who was going through a divorce, and she was a waitress here, and she would make pies. And Andy Griffith, his last movie was here. That was Waitress. Waitress has now become a Broadway play. So, but that was originally done here. Lindsay Lohan did a film up here called Georgia Rule with Jane Fonda. Clint Eastwood filmed up here for Space Cowboys. There's a great film that was done here called, I think it's called Spartan, with Val Kilmer. He pretends to break out of prison with these guys, but it's an actual sting operation, and it's all run out of this restaurant. There's been a lot. Eddie Murphy filmed up here in a film. Jack Black filmed up here. It's just been used in so many things. The website's really cool to see.
Liefhebbers van de film Duel, de eerste film van Steven Spielberg, die moeten dit stukje weg kennen. Dennis Weaver komt hier aan met zijn auto. Hij slipt hier, maakt een U-turn en gaat dan hier naar boven.
Steven Spielberg's first film, Duel. This whole area, the next few miles, is where he filmed the whole thing. And this is, like you said, the scene where Dennis Weaver, right at the very end, he's being chased by the truck. He spins out here. I think he might almost hit those rocks there, if I recall.
Okay.
And then he shoots up the hill here. Now, where he goes, this is an area called, and if you can look up there, it's called Mystery Mesa.
Mystery Mesa.
Mystery Mesa. And not a lot of people know about this, but this is one of the most popular filming places in LA County. Up on top, it is a mesa. It's a flat piece of ground, and that's where they do a lot of the Marvel movies. They did like Thor up there. They did. There's a War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. They did that up there. They did The Aviator. That's where all the planes were and all that. So when Steven Spielberg used this site for Duel, so Dennis Weaver shoots up there, the truck's following right behind, and then he gets up to the top of Mystery Mesa. He jumps out of the car, and the truck follows the car over the side of the mountain. Let me show you where that is. That's just right over here. All right, so we were just up the road about half mile or so. So when Dennis Weaver goes up the hill, he goes up on top of Mystery Mesa here, okay? And that's where the truck falls off, okay? If you look at how they film it, they make it look a lot higher. That is a pretty good size hill, but they make it look a lot higher because they kind of show the same scene over and over. But it is quite a fall.
So where's the truck? Are the remains of the truck there still?
The truck is not there, but when they made the movie, they only had one truck.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was actually a made-for-TV movie here. So the truck goes over the mountain and it destroys the truck, right? They don't have any more. later on, they said, hey, this thing really did well. We want to release it in theaters. They had to go find more trucks. Okay?
And they put in extra scenes.
They put in extra scenes.
There are a lot of ranches in the area, movie ranches. Every range has a different theme.
Pretty much. They try not to step on each other. So Melody, which is the family that owns this, the Veluzat, they have a western town, which is being changed right now for a TV show called Penny Dreadful. But there's really not a lot of western towns here because Melody's kind of already got one. So like next door, there's a ranch that's got a Middle Eastern town.
So you can build Iraq.
Exactly, and they filmed American Sniper just over there. But I mean, there's no law that says they can't have the same stuff. But they, you know, they're in friendly competition with each other, so they don't want to all have the same set because then they just be, you know, there's just so much business. So they usually say, okay, you do that, we'll do this, that kind of thing.
And why are they filming in this area, not nearby Hollywood?
Well, there's no land nearby Hollywood. I mean, this is Los Angeles, and believe it or not, you know, this is the end of the city right here. As you know, going into LA, there's not a square inch of land left, right? Now, they will film sometimes in parks and things like that, or Griffith Park in LA, but it's just a hassle because you have the crowds, you have the people. Out here, you rent the whole place. You got it. No one's going to be here. You know, you do what you want. You can set up the lights like you want. You don't have to get all kinds of building permits if you need to change a set. If you need to blow something up, you don't have to worry about that. You know, no one can hear you, you know. And so it's just a lot easier to film at a film ranch, you know, because you have control.
Op dit ogenblik wordt er ook gefilmd voor een western, Badland. Daarom mogen we niet in het western gedeelte gaan filmen. Is there everyday shooting here?
I would say probably every other day, about half the time. Now at Melody, there's filming every day. Out here, I don't know how I don't know how many days of filming they do a year, but sometimes they won't film anything here for several days. But then it's so big they'll film several productions at the same time. So they might have, you know, like 4 or 5 productions here at once, and then nothing for the next week. You know what I mean? So you could almost say they film every day together.
What's your favorite all-time movie?
My favorite all-time movie is probably The General with Buster Keaton, 1926, silent movie. Buster's our guy. We love Buster, and we're kind of silent film folks. We're actually putting a silent film festival together for Santa Clarita starting next year. So oddly enough, LA doesn't have a silent film festival, so we're starting one. First one in Southern California next year.
A lot of people will see this. Can they also do a tour with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can just go out to, if you're coming over to the U.S., give us a call or check our website. It's www. Okay, I'll say it, then I'll spell it. Okay, Newhallywoodtours.com. Now, New Hollywood is not New Hollywood. It's actually Newhall. Newhall. New Hollywood. The reason is because this area out here is the town of Newhall. Newhall, when it was first 100 years ago, when they were first doing all the westerns, and there was nobody out here, this is where all the companies would come to film the westerns. And it from the early days, it had the nickname New Hollywood, so we resurrected it for the tours.
So how's that spelled?
Newhallywooodtours. New Hollywood Tours.
You can find it under this under this movie.
Please put the banner here, yes.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming and spending some of your time in LA with us.